After playing Fallout New Vegas for the first time a couple months ago, it's quickly become one of my favorite RPGs ever. I've been playing it a ton more on a new save, and I've been doing a bunch of things that I missed in that video, like recruiting an army of companions, massacring the White Glove Society, and spending a night in Sarah's vault. I'm a frog.
Howdy.
And I held off on playing any of New Vegas' DLCs until this video, where I'll be playing through all 4. At the end, I'll rank them from favorite to least favorite, cause ranking make YouTube viewer happy. Let's hop in.
Is this gonna be on the murder?
I played the DLCs in release order, which meant first up was Dead Money. From the old Pip-Boy, I selected the Sierra Madre Grand Opening quest, which led me to an abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker. The receptionist was sleeping on the job, so I had to explore the bunker myself, and after advancing a bit, I was hit by dioxis gas and knocked unconscious. This kicked off the intro cutscene where I learned about the Sierra Madre Casino, then was briefed by a computer man named Father Elijah, who told me the collar around my neck would explode if I didn't do what he says. He sent me off on a quest to break into the Sierra Madre Casino vault and audit their gold reserves. All of my previously held equipment was gone, and I was left with only a jumpsuit and a hollow rifle, the problem being my energy weapon skill was only like 15. As I walked through the abandoned streets, I noticed a strange man shambling in the distance, very ghostily. This is where Fallout New Vegas turns into a horror game. With the power of the sneak attack, I was able to take down this fellow with only 2 shots, but unless you take off one of their limbs, they get back up. After this guy got back up, I panicked and proceeded to miss like half my shots. Melee weapons seem ideal, but my melee weapon skill was also garbage. I went inside the police station to report evil ghost people walking around, but instead found a super mutant in a cage and a hidden supply cache with more guns and ammo and whatnot, and I was introduced to another Dead Money exclusive mechanic, which is that radios make my head explode if I don't shut them off fast enough. I found an MK Ultra tape for the super mutant in the cell upstairs, whose name is Dog and God because he has split personality disorder and doesn't know his true self, unlike me, who knows for a fact that I'm a frog. Schizo or not, I now had a companion who could help me kill things, and boy did I need one because I was completely worthless with a knife unless it was on a ghost who was already dead or a giant cockroach. I will say, I love the spooky atmosphere in this DLC, like just walking around I felt a sense of dread. The only bad thing was listening to Dog say the exact same 3 lines of dialogue over and over.
That Pip-Boy, maybe I'll tear it off your arm, wear it on my neck.
I went into the residential district, which had mines and traps all over the place, but unlike in my first New Vegas video, ouch. Ow. I now knew what to look out for. I walked upstairs and heard a guy on the radio complaining about tourists before finding said guy, Dean Domino, who had the facial texture of a Domino's pizza, and using my amphibious charm, I convinced him to join the team. We went into a hospital where Dean told me I couldn't get spotted by the holograms, to which I said, the question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me. Fuck. After disabling the holograms, looting the clinic, and having my head explode, I shut off power to part of the clinic and found the last companion, Christine, a Caillou lady who was locked in a machine and is unable to speak, but I'm sure there are bad things about her too. After killing each ghost, I was slicing up all their limbs. Like I said, you only have to remove one for them to stay dead, but I was scared. Despite that fear, I spent some time just exploring the map, collecting casino chips and other supplies, mostly looking for more guns and ammo, until I made it to a new area where the air was now purple tinted instead of pink, and I encountered my first ghost seeker, which are like the other ghosts except they jump around all spookily. This area was definitely tougher than before for the simple reason that the ghosts were usually in groups, but with the help of Dog the Bounty Hunter and other references that my Zoomer audience won't understand, we were able to fight through. I hacked a computing terminal using new quantum computing mechanics and made it to a switching substation where, using my intelligence of 7, I convinced God Dog to stand watch. Nerd detour for those curious, this new character had a base intelligence of 6 and I got him to 7 with an implant. After dropping Jehovah Corgi off, I explored elsewhere in the town, finding my 4th gun stash, more ghosts, and a door to a completely new area that, unbeknownst to me, you aren't supposed to go to until much later on in the DLC. My health was already critically low because I was saving my stim packs for a rainy day despite it currently thunderstorming directly over my head, and with the combination of these factors, I died here a couple times before deciding to just go back the way I came. After killing a rad roach, my leg was caught in a bear trap, Shia LaBeouf. Then after respawning, killing the roach, and disarming the bear trap, I went inside a building and was killed by a different bear trap. It's actually impressive how good I am at video games considering I'm blind. I returned to the main area to scoop up Dean Domingo, took a La Heckin Namperino in the police station to restore my health, grabbed individual casino chips out of a fountain, and went to Puesta del Sol where specialty pizzas for $9.99 each told me to avoid the locals, only for us to immediately get spotted and have to kill everyone. After some exploring, we made it to another new area that proved to be the hardest challenge of the DLC thus far. Not so much because of the ghosts, but because after killing them, I had no idea where to go and got lost for 20 minutes before finding where to go somehow, completely on my own, totally without the assistance of Google. I convinced Dean to stay on the rooftop by offering to turn on holograms to protect him, purchased a mod for the holo rifle, and returned to my non-practicing redhead companion where I got XP and dialogue with my superior scientific knowledge. Christine's quest was easy because I just walked back through where I already was with Mr. Domino, except this time we went into a factory-type place where I looted a dead guy's body before getting blown the fuck up. I dropped Norwood 7 off at a control room before returning to the main area, sleeping at the police station again, and being directed to go back to the area I went to earlier when I wasn't supposed to yet. This time, of course, I had no choice but to battle the ghosts, which is complicated by my complete inability to notice bear traps before stepping on them. With there being multiple ghosts in every encounter, I couldn't just sneak attack everyone, and not having a companion anymore to cower behind, I was burning through a lot of ammo, which is less than ideal when there aren't any stores to buy more from. I made sure to get the jury rigging perk my next level up because half of the comments on the last video were just people telling me that it's cracked. Unfortunately, being able to repair items more efficiently couldn't save me from getting punched to death by one of the ghost people. After killing many a ghosts and ghouls and goblins my next life, I was walking by bunk beds when the New Vegas Classic happened. My game crashed. After killing everyone my third go around, my game didn't crash, but I did fall through the entire map into a weird purgatory state, presumably as punishment by the Fallout gods for taking a few weeks off from YouTube before making this video. My fourth life, as I was going around chopping up the limbs of my fallen enemies, I was once again hit by a game crash. Billions must die. My fifth life, I was hit by the classic stuck in vats because I was still reloading glitch, and I bolted out of this area with ghosts still alive because I wanted to advance before either dying or my game crashing again. When I climbed the bell tower, I saw the red on the compass slowly moving in my direction and didn't do anything for a few minutes because I was scared and thought they'd climb up the ladder to come get me. Eventually, I nutted up and activated the Sierra Madre Gala event, killed all the guys I'd skipped, and drank a martini, but my character became an alcoholic, got an addiction debuff, and an insatiable urge to go for a drive. I dismembered more legs, exploded more heads, and got inside the Sierra Madre Casino where there was nary a ghost in sight. There were more security holograms walking around that I would need to avoid and disable, as well as radio emitters that would cause my head to explode, but I will certainly take relying on my wits and guile over fighting more ghosts. My wits and guile led to me getting spotted multiple times. Inside the kitchen, Dog was having a meltdown and turned on the gas, and I needed to talk him out of burning us alive. Or I could have killed him, but I like Dog. After trying to shut off the gas valves a couple times and failing to do so in time, I instead rushed him and talked him down from the god persona, making him once and for all Dog. There were ghosts in the casino now, but I was restocked in health and ammo, so I slaughtered them like animals. Next up was finding Dean Domino, who was in a theater and was not happy with me. I had no choice except to kill Dean Domino. Except I read online afterwards that you can keep him alive, so I don't know what I did wrong to make him hate me, but alas. I talked to Dean through a wall before he opened a door, allowing me to vats him to death. It do be like that, Mr. Domino. Last but not least, I had to find Christine, the bald lady who can now talk, and was doing so over the radio in this area, which is the best and most atmospheric part of the entire DLC. There's a sad lady hologram wandering around who was recorded when the nukes went off, calling out for her boyfriend, and if she finds you, she murders you. Not to get all, hey wacky dog, say something funny. Actually, I have something serious on my mind today. But this is very creepy, sad, and highly effective for the storytelling.
Sinclair, is that you?
I found Christine, who thanked me for fixing her. I also found the skeleton of Vera Lynn and stole her dress to give to Veronica. She wrote a message on the wall that I completely ignored. I fought some more ghosts and made it to the basement, which contained the vault. This area had my highest number of deaths, mostly because I kept getting my head exploded by wall radios. I also got spotted by holograms several times. Eventually, I made it to the entrance of the vault. Once inside and after checking the computer, I turned around and noticed piles of gold bars on the table. Way too many for me to carry without going over my weight limit, not to mention the message about letting go, and do I really want to be a greedy person this concerned with material wealth? The answer, of course, is yes. I grabbed everything. I used the computer terminal in the vault, which explicitly said not to access Sinclair's personal accounts. So I read Sinclair's personal accounts, and as my reward got locked in the vault for all eternity with no possible way out. After reloading my save and this time not being stupid, Father Elijah came down to say hello, and there's an achievement I wanted to get for locking him in the vault, which is rather difficult when I move at 1 mile per hour and can't sneak past him very fast. But after several screw-ups where he noticed me and activated the force fields, I figured out how to sneak past him successfully. It was now time for me to leave the Sierra Madre and bid the Dead Money DLC adieu. Adieu. I don't know why I wrote that in the script. I don't know how to say that word. I spent the next 17 days of real life time selling all my gold bars to gun runners. Really good DLC. On to the next next one. But first, a question. Do you like video games?
I'm watching a Fallout New Vegas video, so yeah.
Then let me tell you about the Red Magic 11 Air, a brand new gaming smartphone. It's the perfect phone for someone like me who can never play enough KOTOR 2. It has 144 Hz refresh rate, so everything is smooth and fluid while you're playing on it. It has up to 512 gigabytes of storage, so you can download a lot more than just KOTOR 2 on it. Up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is more than my old laptop that I used to make videos on. And it has a 7,000 milliamp hour battery, so this thing can get you through a flight or a road trip or a visit to the DMV, no problem. And listen, it's not just for gaming. It is an Android smartphone with all the features you expect out of a smartphone in 2026. It just also has insane specs for gaming. That storage space I mentioned, that could also be for saving movies or TV shows like the Fallout show or good TV shows like the Halo show. All the specs I mentioned, great for gaming, but also for everything else. It's a phone that's optimized for playing games. It's supposed to give you the best mobile gaming experience, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that you're a gamer watching this, but that also just means it's a really good phone. I'll put a link to the Red Magic 11 Air in the description and pinned comments so you can check it out for yourself. It's genuinely an impressive phone, and I was happy they offered to sponsor me. So thank you, Red Magic, for sponsoring the video. Let's get back to it.
I'm Rich Evans. I've gotten laid. You can do it.
To begin the next DLC, Honest Hearts, I had to meet up with the Happy Trails expedition.
Howdy, friend.
Howdy.
He thanked me for killing McLafferty from the Crimson Caravan, something I did solely to curry favor with Cass. I returned to him with only the bare essentials in my inventory, and Honest Hearts began with the cutscene giving me the backstory of the new Canaanites and Joshua Graham, who got lit on fire by Caesar and thrown down into a canyon. With this happy story raising the morale, the game cut to us now in Zion Canyon after a couple-week trek. I was following my new friends when suddenly we were ambushed by locals, and before I knew it, everyone else was dead, murdered by the White Legs, who continued their assault, trying to now take me out. And I don't mean to a ball game. I advanced forward, killing everyone in sight to avenge my friends' deaths, mostly Stella though, since she was moderately attractive. I started shooting this guy who appeared up on a rock named Follows Chalk. The problem was that doing so made me fail a quest, so I realized I wasn't supposed to do that. I made sure to blow his head off anyway though. Then I restarted the DLC, this time determined to not let all the caravan members die. But after a few attempts, I realized my efforts were in vain because each white leg is invincible prior to killing their designated member of the caravan. The truth is, the game was rigged from the start. After honoring my fallen comrades by taking their stuff, I advanced and this time didn't shoot Sidewalk Chalk, and he introduced himself as one of the good people and tagged along with me as my new companion. Along the way to his camp, we saw an angry beast called a Yao Guai. It must have been fed after midnight, and it's one of the creatures that makes this place different along with the new terrain and the random white leg attacks. I took my time sniping geckos of unusual size and exploring. I went into Fallen Rock Cave where some schmuck left all their camping equipment unattended. Ow. Then we made it to the Dead Horses camp where I got to meet Joshua Graham, who was still very much alive, but dressed like he was born with glass bones and paper skin. He's a Mormon, and based on how many pistols he has, my guess is he's tired of asking people to join the church. My game crashed again as I walked up here. I introduced the Yao Guai to the 50 cal, got hit by another VATS glitch as a Cazador stuck his stinger directly into my face, cleared out an entire cave full of Yao Guai, suffered from alcohol withdrawal symptoms because I forgot to go to a doctor after dead money, and did a side quest where I led a bighorner calf back to his mother, which made Chaka happy. We were off on a mission to get various pieces of technology from buildings because the rest of the tribe considered pre-war buildings to be sacred and off. Oh god. Rock Chalk and I went into a fishing lodge where we were greeted by geckos I destroyed in the name of Sunny Smiles, and we found walkie-talkies for Joshua Graham in a cabinet. I found Cueva Garache where I had to fight off evil plant people. In the Zion Ranger Station, we killed scorpions that only a fool would call giant and grabbed a medical supply kit. And in the Zion General Store, we found our last quest item, Lil Scout lunchboxes. We delivered these supplies to a different camp belonging to the Sorrows where I met a guy named Daniel who's far less based than Joshua Graham and got a new companion, a Sinead O'Connor lady named Waking Cloud. For a side quest, we went back to the Yao Guai cave I had already cleared out and placed explosives inside, which wasn't bad itself, except that upon exiting, we were greeted by the biggest Yao Guai I had ever seen in my entire life in the hour and a half I'd been playing this DLC so far. I was walking along by a campsite where I encountered a magically materializing bighorner. I went to Virgin River where everyone knew you, massacred white legs in their camps, maxed out repair and sneak when I leveled up to 39, got higher than gold prices, and fought a flaming Yao Guai. And just like that, I had completed all the side quests in the DLC. Waking Foyd and I fought through more carnivorous plants and plant people to steal a map for Daniel. And when I delivered it to him, he gave me a spiel about how we shouldn't massacre the white legs because even though they're violent savages who slaughtered my caravan and want to wipe out the rest of the native population, that would make us just as bad as them or some other gobbledygook. Instead of listening to Daniel, I teamed up with Joshua Graham and we murdered the fuck out of the white legs. Our slaughter was so otherworldly that I got a bug that made it look like I was walking on air. That's pretty much the end of Honest Hearts, and I'll be honest, I think it's kind of eh. I had fun while I was playing it, but it's not really that memorable or like something I want to revisit anytime soon. The best part about this DLC was that I now had Joshua Graham's armor, which looked really good with my beret and glasses. I activated a quest to investigate a drive-in movie theater, and upon arriving found a crashed satellite that teleported me into the Old World Blues DLC. After getting a cutscene that went over the background of Big Mountain, I woke up on a balcony before entering the Sink, which is basically your home base for the DLC. I entered the think tank where I met a few doctors with their brains and robots.
And are those penises I see wriggling on its feet?
Alright, I learned before I woke up they cut out my brain, heart, and spine and replaced them with a robo brain, heart, and spine. This isn't a very serious DLC, as you can tell.
Unless you're stupid.
I talked to the big bad guy through the TV named Dr. Mobius, met a computer in the Sink that I could trade with, and I was off into the new world of Old World Blues. I got this sonic emitter gun that I tried using against robo-dogs. The problem was I'm a terrible shot and couldn't hit the broadside of a beagle. Most of the enemies in this DLC are robots of various varieties, and I simply didn't have the best loadout for handling robots, especially ones that flamethrower my face. I checked a computer and found some notes about the Sierra Madre Casino, so that's a neat tie-in to Dead Money, and this wouldn't be the only tie-in I would find. Like with Honest Hearts, I wanted to explore and do as much as I could besides just the main quest, except this DLC had a lot more to do than Honest Hearts. I came into contact with and battled my first lobotomites, which I think is just a fancy term for Redditors. I stepped on another mine and crippled my leg as Peggy Lee roasted a dude for 4 minutes on the radio about being broke. I had my first encounter of this DLC with plant people. This is what hunting is like if you're a vegan. I went into this underground place and grabbed a couple things for quests, then encountered my first robo-scorpions. For now, these guys were actually pretty tough for me. I returned to the Sink and slept in a bed to heal myself. If you ever notice my health magically going from low to full without me explaining it, you can assume that's what happened. Or you can just accuse me of cheating my casual New Vegas playthrough, fair enough. I was in a mysterious cave where after skulking around, I found a legendary bloatfly that after briefly getting the upper hand with the sneak attack, I learned he could take out over half my health by hitting me with just one shot of his acid goo. I did get lucky though, because shortly after, he got stuck on nothing, letting me just shoot him over and over with no threat. Don't worry, I did grab the mini buff-outs and psychos off his corpse. Between the humor and the enemies and environments, really like everything about this DLC reminds me of Borderlands 2. Although obviously this came out first. All I'm saying is if they copy-pasted everything here into Borderlands 2, it would fit perfectly. I went inside a DNA splicing lab where the inhabitants had been turned into piles of lab-grown meat, and I was attacked by a couple cazadors. After killing the second, I was given a plus 10% damage bonus to cazadors. I am aware, by the way, that that's not how cazadors is supposed to be pronounced, but frogs don't speak Spanish, we only speak English. I opened a door and shot one in the behind, then another in the face, before opening a big door coming face to face with Specimen 73, which I turned into Big Giant Dead Bug 73. Killing him got me another damage bonus, and this was an example of something I like the best about Old World Blues versus the other DLCs. It feels more interesting and rewarding to explore than in Dead Money or Honest Hearts. Next up, I went to the X8 Research Center to do data retrieval tests. These involved me going into a fake high school and having to retrieve 3 different students' records from computer terminals hidden around while the principal in the intercom talked about stopping the commie menace. After clearing out this room, I found the first computer which contained Richie Marcus's records, and his stupid ass got all F minuses, and I guess he loves balls, just like Elmo.
Balls! You know! Balls!
Overall, this wasn't too hard. I got the records and massacred every robo-dog and lobotomite in my way. After returning to the main part of the facility, I could start a part 2 of the test, which is exactly the same, except this time I got to use a new upgrade to my sonic emitter that lets me take down force fields. This will also let me get to new places in the DLC that were previously inaccessible. In the meantime, I just had to round up the student records again.
Dorothy's been thinking about balls too!
I had one last test where I had to take out a giant dog named Gabe, then find another upgrade for the sonic emitter. The X8 building was now full of robo-scorpions who were still pretty tough for me because I was yet to discover Dewey, and when I got outside, I was killed by them a couple times. It didn't help that they were wall hacking. I finally put a thing on my head that I'd gotten earlier from killing the cazadors that gave me health regeneration and an endurance boost, the only downside being I couldn't wear glasses at the same time. I fought a couple skeleton people, climbed up a satellite dish, and grabbed an antenna, which led to the evil Dr. Mobius sending more robo-scorpions at me, which, as a frog, I was of course killed by, as per the old fable. I went inside the Higgs village, which aesthetically reminded me of the Squidward ethno-state. I went back to the Sink where I talked to the jukebox and had it get my sonic emitter, that Gabriel's bark upgrade I'd gotten a bit ago from the giant dog, and with its bonus damage to robots, I now had my answer for the robo-scorpions. I had to fight a lot more skeleton people in the meantime though, which were not in fact robots. The robo-dogs were robots though, but unfortunately they ate me. day. I continued exploring, going inside the Z43 Innovative Toxins plant where I fought more skeletons. I also found a lab where they made holograms like the ones in the Sierra Madre. In the X13 testing facility, I put together a prototype stealth suit, and this was one of my favorite parts of the DLC. There are 4 stealth challenges you can do that get increasingly hard, but still aren't very hard. This is where New Vegas turns into a stealth game. And while in this facility, I also had my first chance to obliterate Robo-Scorpions with my new sonic emitter. After completing all 4 tests, I obliterated even more Robo-Scorpions on my way out using my new favorite weapon of all time outside of the Halo 1 pistol, Halo 1 sniper rifle, Halo 1 plasma pistol, Halo 1 shotgun, Halo 1 rocket. I talked to the biological research station that told me it wanted my seed. I went back to the X8 research facility where the sonic emitter was unfortunately not very good against Night Stalkers, but bullets to the face are. I did a couple more of the high school simulation deals, except here all the Robo Dogs are replaced by Night Stalkers. They are definitely tougher, but the stealth suit auto-injects stim packs, so I couldn't really die unless I got one-shotted. Unbeknownst to me at the time, this actually sucks because stealth suit injected stim packs heal way less than if you do it yourself, and in the last 45 minutes of gameplay, I went from over 100 stim packs in my inventory to like 60. My reward for all this was a 10% damage bonus to Night Stalkers. I continued my exploring in places like Ulysses Point and in the Cuckoo's Nest, where I found a lobotomite named Test Subject 1, wonder what that means. In the Securitron deconstruction plant, the stealth suit asked for validation.
Do you like me?
And I fought a Securitron with a rocket arsenal. Back at the sink, I had extended conversations with the various pieces of talking technology, and level 46 saw me nearly max out energy weapons. I ran around places I'd already been for 20 minutes trying to find more upgrades for the robots in the sink, and while doing so, I found a message from Christine from the Dead Money DLC, Soy Jack pointing meme. I fought an evil robot named Sparks, and after defeating him, I felt so invincible that I let the intrusive thoughts win and tried to swim in lava. Speaking of Dead Money, the best tie-in I found was this camp where all the inhabitants have collars around their neck that explode if they walk outside of the gate, and there are log entries from Father Elijah. It was finally time for me to continue with the main plot line, which just meant talking to Eyes and Lip Man, showing more Robo-Scorpions what it's like to be a sensitive young man in this cruel world, and going into a secret bunker where I had to have a fight with the Mega Robo-Scorpion. Except I had a maxed out science skill, so I just hacked a terminal and activated a kill switch. I talked to the evil but convivial Dr. Mobius, had a conversation with my own brain that went similar to how my conversations with myself go when I don't feel like working on a video, and returned to the sink where I got my heart and spine put back in my body, then convinced the think tank to put my brain back in my body by passing a speech check to convince them that I'm Dr. Mobius. If you haven't played this DLC, then nothing I just said probably makes sense, but the longest end cutscene of all time played and I was done with Old World Blues. Gameplay-wise, this was definitely my favorite of the DLC so far, but I'll have more extended thoughts at the end. One DLC left. After taking a pit stop at Gunrunners to sell a few things since I was low on caps, I selected the quest The Reunion, which took me to a bit of canyon wreckage. Seems like I'm at the right place. When offered the choice, I chose to walk the Lonesome Road, the only one that I have ever known, which took me to this place that looked like Khaled al-Assad just set off a nuclear bomb. Nonetheless, this is how the last DLC, Lonesome Road, begins. I went inside a bunker where after looking around a bit, I found a robo friend named Eddie who agreed to tag along with me as my new companion. We walked up what seemed to be an old missile silo until I was attacked by an evil robot. Unfortunately for this robot, I still had my sonic emitter. I found a dead army general with a pistol next to him. The pistol had a 12-round magazine but only had 11 rounds in it, so my best guess is that he accidentally discharged his pistol then died of a heart attack. We made it outside where Eddie got hacked by a guy who talks like he just read Machiavelli for the first time.
Power isn't strength. Power can wall off someone when they believe it's freed them.
His name is Ulysses. No longer hacked, Eddie and I toured the Hopeville missile base where we came into contact with red people called Marked Men. After all the stuff I had dealt with in Old World Blues, these cats were no problem. I found a laser detonator that would let me blow up nuclear warheads. There are a bunch scattered around the map and they mostly just exist to clear out debris and clear paths. This DLC is kind of the exact opposite of Old World Blues. This one is serious instead of goofy and more importantly, really linear. Although I'm sure that I missed a lot of stuff, like for example, I didn't destroy every warhead in this playthrough. After massacring even more crab people, the linear path took me to a collapsed overpass tunnel. Inside I saw a Deathclaw and instinctively one-shotted it, then found a strange creature called a Tunneler and one-shotted it with a sneak attack as well. I wasn't able to one-shot them without sneaking though and learned the hard way that they do a lot of damage. My next life I realized the Deathclaw is in the tunnel so you can watch it go into a crate and get eaten by a Tunneler as your introduction to them, but I blew it by shooting the Deathclaw last time. Sorry, Chris Avalone. Outside the tunnel, Eddie got hijacked by Ulysses again who blabbered about House and Vegas. I leveled up to 49, here's what my skills look like if you want to pause. This bridge was filled with Deathclaws and I was refusing to use stim packs because I was running low after the stealth suit fiasco of the last DLC. Luckily, I'm safe from Deathclaws as long as I stay in here. Eddie and I continued moving as we got past the bridge. Ow. I walked all the way back across almost the entire bridge to sleep in a bed to heal myself without using a stim pack, then walked all the way back but was now full health with my legs no longer crippled. Eddie and I met a guy named Bonesaw who didn't seem interested in conversation and just wanted to saw my bones, but he shouldn't have brought a bone saw to a 50 BMG fight. Eddie got hacked again, this time by Holden Bloodfeast, who made Eddie launch a nuke at Iran. For my level 50 perk, I chose Thought You Died because it seemed pretty good. We went down a lift where we were attacked by waves of tunnelers, but the gameplay here isn't very interesting because I was just using VATS and pulling up my Pip-Boy to use stim packs the entire time. I did die once, but only once. Further ahead, I found my first Eddie upgrade. Unfortunately, this couldn't stop Ulysses from taking control and talking about the bear and the bull. I walked directly into a mine again, which caused this to happen. Alright, as I walked through the rubble, I killed every marked man I came across and listened to a YouTube video about YouTubers turned murderers. I am not going to read the punchline I have written in this script because I don't want the police coming to my house. I introduced the tunnelers to something called a grenade launcher and nearly killed myself in the process. Ulysses talked more trash to the robot, then teleported him away, stealing him from me. So I had to go save him. The Deathclaws got revenge on me for taking out their brothers very cheaply at Quarry Junction in the last video. This stopped when I figured out how to take these guys out cheaply as well. Fun fact of the day, did you know that in a group of 23 people, there's a 50% chance that any two of those people share a birthday? Son of a bitch! I made it to Ulysses' temple where I decommissioned more robots before reuniting with Eddie, and together we made it to the final room where Ulysses was waiting in front of a missile. After yapping even more, we began the final battle, and I started by putting sniper shots directly into his face and taking his health halfway down, but then his own Eddie spawned and they healed him. Ulysses turned on active camouflage and hit me repeatedly until I fell into an abyss. My second try, I had the bright idea to not even talk to him and just land a sneak attack right off the bat, which I did, but he got healed again and killed me anyway. My third try, I landed the sneak attack and killed him, but I think avoiding the dialogue messed everything up because I hung around a few minutes and nothing happened. So I had no choice except to talk to him, disable his eddies, and beat him fair and square. I was given an option to nuke the NCR, Caesar's Legion, or both, and I instead chose to cancel the launch, which required my robot friend to sacrifice his life. Press ribbit to pay respects. That was Lonesome Road, the final DLC, and to spoil my rankings, that was definitely my least favorite. I would say Old World Blues number 1, Dead Money number 2, Honest Arts number 3, and Lonesome Road number 4. 1 and 2, tough to decide, I really like both. I think Old World Blues was just more fun to play. I like the map better and being able to explore. The gameplay was fun. I like the new guns and gadgets. Dead Money, I prefer the thematics and the atmosphere and the story. Old World Blues I didn't think was that funny, if I'm being honest. And Dead Money really nailed like the horror vibes, and I like the backstory of the casino and Vera and all that stuff. Honest Arts was just a solid, fun way to spend a couple hours, but outside of the character of Joshua Graham, it's not really memorable to me in any way. In Lonesome Road, I didn't like the linear structure, and the marked men weren't that fun to fight against. The tunnelers are cool, I guess. I didn't hate playing it, but definitely my least favorite. Leave a comment letting me know if you agree or if I'm a fucking idiot. If you like this video, check out my first New Vegas video if you haven't already. I plan on doing more Fallout stuff, so stay tuned. Shout out to my patrons, consider becoming one yourself. Goodbye.